I'm sorry about the lighting situation. It's one of those early autumn days where the weather doesn't really know what it's doing. But welcome to the Cozy Autumn book tag. I was not tagged, but I wanted to answer these questions, so I am. My cat is on the floor here with me, so if you hear a bell, that's what you're hearing. But let's get straight into the questions. I wish I had like a nice drink with me right now, but I don't. This tag was created by The Book Bell. I'll put a link to the original video in the description, but let's get started. The first question is, what book always reminds you of autumn? And for me, this is maybe a random choice, but I have reason. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins was the book that got me into reading. The book and movie are tied together in my head. I can't really separate them. My love for one encourages my love of the other. And the movie in particular feels like a cloudy day being wrapped up in a really warm blanket. It might be because of all of the kind of woods imagery in the book and the movie, or all of the fire motifs, but even the soundtrack of the movie feels like autumn to me, and the book as a whole feels like getting cozy on a cold day. The second question is, what is your favourite autumnal book cover? And I thought about this for a moment, and then I just wanted to show you some books that I got as a gift, so I'm gonna do that. He was asking me about specific authors and different classics, and he mentioned Grimm's fairy tales. And I jumped on that as soon as he mentioned it. This is maybe the most beautiful thing that I own. I'd been looking for a collection of Grimm's fairy tales from op shops and things, but never found any. And now I have this. You may know of my love of the moon. I wear a moon necklace every day. This, as a physical object, is just one of the most beautiful things ever. I'm really excited to have this. I've flipped through it a few times, but I haven't read any complete stories yet. But this is just a beautiful physical object. But this is 5 of Charles Dickens' novels in one. This is a very, very large book. It's so pretty. This does look to me like a street that Jack the Ripper would be lurking on, but it's also just insanely beautiful. I do love pretty versions of classics, and I've been interested in reading some of Charles Dickens' stuff, so I'm excited to have this, but it is quite overwhelming to see such a large object. And this is a very autumnal cover. I love it. I really am a fan of browns and warm tones and beiges, clearly. But to answer the actual question, I think the Orange Penguin classics are very autumnal because they are orange. Mine are all different shades of orange because they are secondhand, so they've all seen things. This one is practically yellow. It may seem like I'm really into classics, but I've never actually finished a whole classic novel. I read a few things here or there for school. The sun just disappeared. I read a few classics here or there for school, but never really a full novel. I've started so many of them, but I just find it so hard to finish, so maybe autumn is my time. I will finally read a classic. But in terms of my favourite, most autumnal cover, I have this special edition of Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. It is very autumnal and very beautiful. It has the sword Cortana and the inscription and falling leaves. Very autumnal. It also has gold edges, which I am a big fan of. But yes, this might be my favourite autumnal cover. Question 3 is your favourite autumnal drink to read with. I have always wanted to be a tea person, but black tea has always made me gag and green tea has always tasted just kind of fishy to me. A few years ago I got into peppermint tea, but I find I have to really be in the mood for it. I think you can never go wrong with a hot Milo, but maybe that's just because I'm Australian, but it also makes me feel a little bit sick most of the time. My favourite warm, cozy drink is a chai. I make my own mix because most of the store-bought ones have milk powder in them, for whatever reason. It's not at all authentic, but it is delicious. I usually make it on the stove, but I'm also fairly lazy, so I do kind of make a mix that I can use in a tea strainer. I substitute the fresh ginger for powdered ginger, which theoretically works, but it also falls through the holes in the tea strainer. I like to sweeten it with maple syrup which makes it delicious and warm and cozy, and it's just a really comforting drink. I feel like I'm in the dark. I'm so sorry about the lighting. Question number 4 is, do you prefer to read late in the night or early in the morning? And my answer is both, but also neither. I think prime reading time is like mid-afternoon, especially in cool weather, sitting by a window with a warm blanket and a warm drink. It's just kind of perfect. The only thing that would make it better is like an open fire, but I don't have one of those, so I make do. But the question is asking late at night or early in the morning. Why? Why would you do that? Oh, don't. That's my coffee. Oh boy. My cat is a menace. Can you hear her padding along my desk? If you want to go on the window that bad, here, go on. Okay, you can be trapped behind the curtain now. Realistically, I think late at night, although I am a very sleepy person and so I will probably not last long. I take a while to get going in the morning, but I am an early riser, so maybe I could become a person who gets up and reads in the morning. I just currently am not. Question number 5 is, Halloween is coming, what is your favourite spooky read? Here's the thing. Halloween is not coming. Welcome to the Southern Hemisphere. And despite it being March, I do think autumn is a spooky time. Even though Halloween is not in this season for me, I still enjoy a good spooky read during autumn. I think because the weather is gloomy, it just fits. I recently read Bunny by Mona Awad, and this was delightful. I don't know if I would describe it as spooky, but it's described on the back as a fairy tale horror, and I really do agree with that. It also has general autumn vibes, so yeah, if you're watching this in the Halloween season, I'd give Bunny a go. Question number 6 is, what is the ultimate comfort read for you? And I feel like I talk about this in every video. I love to reread. There is one book that I've reread so many times, and that is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I have read that book over 70 times now. It's a problem, and it is definitely a comfort read for me. But it's not very autumnal. It is much more of a summery book for me. Six of Crows, however, is another one of my comfort reads, which definitely has a more autumnal vibe, and I just always want to reread. Ketterdam feels so gloomy and grey, and I think all they really need is like a warm blanket, maybe a nice drink, a fireplace, and like the crows wouldn't even have a life of crime because they'd just be so cozy that they'd be fine. Six of Crows has definitely become my main comfort read as of late. I love these characters, I love the story, I think about them all the time. Question 7 is, what is your favourite autumnal reading snack? And I don't really have one. I typically don't eat and read at the same time because then you get like dirty fingers on your book. But I don't know why, but just salted pretzels came to mind, like the crunchy, small kind, not the bready ones. That's not really a thing here. Anyway, I think in an ideal world, the perfect autumnal reading snack would be some kind of baked good with cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Maybe a scroll of some sort. Something nice. I do love a good baked good. A good baked good. My cat's about to jump down from the window. Question 8 is, what is your favourite autumnal candle to burn while reading? And I'm kind of biased. Hi, I actually make candles for like a living. Like that's my job. I have a small business. I make and sell candles. So while I am very biased, I do have an answer. I actually created an autumn collection last year, and they are all wonderful. My favourite though from that is probably Cedar and Amber. My cat's walking around my feet. Sorry, I'm paying attention to her while I'm answering this. Meow. Everyone say hi to the baby. She's not a baby, but she's my baby. Okay, you gotta put your claws away though. So, where was I? But you can never go wrong with like apple and cinnamon or vanilla for autumn. But yes, I'm gonna stop talking about my candles because it's embarrassing. to talk about my work. Question 9 is, when you are not reading, what is your favourite autumnal activity? I really enjoy gardening, but there's not much to do in the garden during autumn. Once you have it set up, like, it's not like summer. There isn't stuff to constantly do, other than desperately trying to get the cabbage moths to not. There's no end to that sentence. There are so many little green worms everywhere. I like to craft. I like a lot of crafts. I knit, but I'm not very good at it. I cross stitch, I embroider. Sewing is probably my main crafty hobby, but it's not the kind of thing you can like settle into a chair and just do. Most of my sewing is done on a machine, so you have to be at a desk, it's loud, it's not very cozy. I do want to get back into hand sewing. A few years ago I would do it quite often, and I started making a shirt and it's nearly done. I just need to gather it up into the collar and hem it, and then I'll have like a puffy white shirt. But yeah, I've lost most of the skill that goes into hand sewing, so that's going to take a bit of time to get back into. But hopefully this autumn I can do that. And the last question is, what is on your autumn reading list? My physical TBR is embarrassingly long. I think during autumn I want to get through some of the more like dark academia books that have been gathering. I keep buying books, it's quite a problem. One of the main ones is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This is like the original campus novel. Everyone has good things to say about it. I was so excited to find a secondhand copy, and so I think I have to get to it within the next few months. It is longer than I anticipated, but that's okay. I can do it, slow and steady. I'd really like to read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Again, I've heard good things. There is also Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is very intriguing to me, but again, haven't picked it up. I really want to reread Legends and Lattes because I read it on a summer holiday last year, and it didn't quite feel right, I think because of the season, so I want to give it another chance, and also read the prequel, Bookshops and Bone Dust. I also want to get through at least one classic. I'm a few chapters into Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray, but I'm not going to commit to any singular classic because I want to just go with my mood and hopefully finish one. But that was the Cozy Autumn book tag. I really enjoyed those questions. I love tags. Again, the original will be in the description. Let me know what your favourite autumnal book is. Maybe I'll pick it up this season. But that's all from me today. You can like this video. If you liked it, you can subscribe. I upload every week. And I will see you next time. Bye. Meow. Meow. Come. Come here. Meow. Come. You're so hairy. Come, I'll pick you up. Meow.